Hi, I'm Heather Boyd, Principal of Pillar IP, a boutique intellectual property law agency in Ottawa, Ontario. I'm also a certified sommelier. Welcome to the Pillar Post, IP Somm, where I invite guests to have a conversation about intellectual property or IP while enjoying a glass of wine or some spirits. I know intellectual property, when you hear that word, most people take a deep breath and think that this is very scary, or it invokes ideas of several dollar signs. But the whole purpose of me doing this is to try to bring awareness to IP and to make it a lot more relatable. So the fact that I'm a sommelier while we're having this conversation should help by making it a little bit more palatable. Welcome. My first guest today is Lisa J. Weiss. She's just going to join me in the drinking seat.
Yay! Hello.
This is Lisa, and I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Lisa J. Weiss. I am the creative force of Eye of the Storm Coaching and Consulting, and I help people to rediscover the leader that lives inside of them. And why I'm thrilled about being here with Heather is I love wine. And I'm also interested in learning a little bit more about intellectual property, or IP as she likes to call it. And I'm looking forward to seeing where we take ourselves.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for joining me, Lisa.
Thank you.
I would first like to say that this video blog or post will not provide any legal advice whatsoever. This is strictly for the purposes of having a conversation that may entail other people's IP, whatever's available in the public domain. So there won't be any advice here. And eventually we'll get to the point with this where we will invite questions from the audience, but this is being videoed in the background right now so that we can post it later because it's the first time. So the first point of business is cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers. Mm-hmm. Lovely.
So let's talk about the wine we have right now. So we're starting with what is called the Bean, and this is a South African Pinotage. It was in my wine cellar, and I had a whole bunch of bottles of wine that I pulled up from my wine cellar, and I let Miss Lisa choose the wine. She's going to tell us why she chose this wine.
Right, so she had about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so there were about 10 or 12 bottles that she had picked out. And I'm a visual person, as most people are with wines. And visually, actually, I'm gonna pull this one out because this is the one that actually caught my attention. And because of how it looked, I really liked the look of that. But then as I started reading them, I recognized that this was a Pinotage, and I know Pinotage, and I really like Pinotage. So I thought, okay, I'm going to go with the one that I know. And so that's why I chose Pinotage.
Excellent.
This time.
So let's talk about the wine that actually grabbed your attention first.
Okay.
So can we pull back the Epica here?
Okay.
I don't know where I got the Epica here. I just found it in a wine box downstairs in the basement. So the whole point of labeling is to draw the attention of the eye. So when we're talking about trademarks or copyright, most people will understand that it's whatever designates a source of specific goods or services. That's the whole point of a trademark, is that it designates the source of specific goods or services. So in the case of the wine, Epica would be the trademark, and that is designated, who owns this? Bottled and produced by, it's a Chilean wine, by the way, Las Condes Santiago, is Condes in Santiago, Chile, I guess. San Pedro is the one, sorry, I should be in the frame here. San Pedro is the vintner. So it's been proven through various studies that when you're talking about red wine and you're choosing a red wine, this may be interesting for you, a red label will obviously immediately draw attention to the bottle.
Look at that. And it did.
So big bold labels will always draw your attention quicker. But people choose wines based on either the bottle, the way how pretty it looks. We're going to pull out some other other bottles here so you can take a look at the specific wine labels, or they choose wines that they know.
Right.
Now, Lisa, have you had the bean before?
The Pinotage? No, I haven't had.
You've had the grape varietal.
I've had the grape varietal.
Okay.
I haven't had the bean specifically.
Okay, so with this one, I just wanted to point out that this is a coffee Pinotage.
Mm.
So you can see the picture of the coffee beans on here.
Right.
So this label could be protected through copyright protection because it's a work of art, I guess.
Right.
But because it describes coffee in the wine, I don't think that the coffee beans would be a registrable trademark, particularly not in here in Canada. In other countries, it could be, as it clearly describes the character of the wine.
Okay.
So just a little point there for you. My thought was that you were picking it because we had to be on here and perked up, and there was some coffee in there, which I'm all for.
Yeah, no.
We're gonna have another sip of this, by the way.
Especially since I don't drink coffee, so
Well, you are now.
So the coffee would not be the draw. It was the Pinotage.
Okay.
It was the name, the Pinotage, that drew me.
Okay. So typically a Pinotage comes from South Africa. It's their primary grape out of South Africa, or varietal, I guess. A lot of wineries in South Africa use a Pinotage, and they actually grow their grapes so that there's a bit of bacteria that it creates that burnt rubber taste and smell that's typical of a lot of South African red wines. Okay. So just so you know.
Okay, interesting.
A little tidbit there.
Cool.
Okay, let's pull out a couple more bottles here.
Okay.
So my thought was maybe when you put something that's on the label in here, it's perfect for marketing people because it describes what's in the wine, so people know. So they're picking wines based on what's in the wine. So I want you to pull out the steel.
This one?
Yeah. So
Okay.
we're gonna put that on there. So this one, the Stave & Steel, was a bottle gifted to me by a friend, Michelle, at Christmas time. And if you can see on the label there, it says that it's bourbon barrel aged, which means that this wine spent time in a bourbon barrel after the bourbon was out of it.
Oh.
To age and add a little bit of a hint of bourbon to the actual flavor of the wine. I'm a huge bourbon drinker, love it. So what's in this wine would be something that would appeal to me. Right. And because my friend Michelle knew that I drink bourbon, that's why he chose this wine for me. Cool. So people want to put the content of it, or marketing, when you're talking about marketing a wine, sometimes what's in the wine or how it's made is actually a very huge selling point for some people. Okay. So you've seen sherry cask and these things. So,
yes.
Yeah. I also love that this is a really dark bottle. It's to me, it's a romantic look to it.
Right.
I don't know whether this is a registered trademark. I don't know.
Like, is there a way for you to tell?
Oh, yeah.
If it's a registered trademark?
I can pull out my trusty phone here, take off my glasses because I can't see a thing, and go to the trademark website. And what is it? Stave & Steel?
Yes. So this is just, an example of how she is showing how easy it is for you to find out what's trademarkable or what's already trademarked.
What's already
trademarked.
Yeah. Okay. So this is Stave & Steel. The name only is the subject of a word mark, which means it's a trademark that is just the words, and there's no claim to the font style or size of the lettering or wording on there.
Okay.
And this was filed back in May of 2018, and this is owned by the Wine Group LLC out of the U.S. So where's this from? California. So this is a California wine.
Cool.
I do not represent these people, and this is all information that's provided in the public domain, so I'm not breaching any proprietary rights here by disclosing that information.
It's interesting, though, that you say, as you were talking about the trademark, you said it was just the name and not the font or whatnot. So I guess people can trademark you can get as detailed as you want in a trademark. It could be the name, it could be the name
Oh, yeah.
and the font, it could be the name, the font, and
It can be the
whatever.
color. It can be all sorts of things.
Cool.
I really do recommend that if you're unsure of if you're looking to protect a trademark, seek out the advice of a registered trademark agent like myself, so that we can tell you exactly what your trademark is that you should be protecting based on your use here in Canada. So that's so. I haven't tried this one yet. I'm waiting for it to continue aging.
Mm-hmm.
So you know that wine continues to age in the bottle, is
Yes.
it? Okay.
Yes.
Just so that we're clear on that.
That's
All
why
right.
sometimes people have them for hundreds of years in their family. It's passed down,
Yeah.
and hopefully it's been well.
I think the oldest wine that I have downstairs in my wine cellar is from the year I was born, which is a few years ago.
And we're not even going to go there because it's inappropriate to ask a woman how old she is.
It's 1968. Okay, let's pull out a different wine. So why don't the Three Dog Winery
This
here?
one?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Prince Edward County is near and dear to my heart.
Love that place.
Right?
Yes.
And my husband and I, in November, went down to Prince Edward County. We have property down there that we're going to be building on for our retirement home in the next couple of years. But we went down for a romantic weekend, and we stayed at the Three Dog Winery. Look at this.
Okay.
Look at the little puppy dog thing.
Ah.
There were 3 golden retrievers on the property.
Lovely.
Stunning. People, the whole place was gorgeous. Highly recommended if you go down there. We brought back some wine. I always bring back wine. But I just wanted to show this for the label with the little puppy dog thing there. Now I don't know whether this is. Let's look it up.
Okay. See if it's
See if it's a registered mark.
right, because they use it on the back as well. So they have it on the front, and you can see.
Yeah,
They also
and it's in
have
the
it on
color
back.
red too. Now
Right.
I should have checked to see if I've got a bottle of white downstairs as well from them.
Oh.
I wonder if their white is in the white color.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
So let me just take a quick cut. So what I'm going to do, so when you're searching on the trademark database, you can search for all different things. I wouldn't recommend if you're picking a trademark to do this search yourself. You can check it to make sure that there's not already something on the register.
Okay.
But if you want to make sure that it's actually available for you to use, again, seek the advice of a registered trademark agent, because there are nuances that you will never even think about when it comes to picking a trademark.
So in that case, then, would you then, if I was going to come to see you for to trademark something, should I have a list of names available or a list of things available that then I could talk to you about, or is it just when I first have my first idea to come talk to you? Like when's
I
the
think at
best
any
time?
stage you can come talk to me, and I mean, for me personally, I don't charge for initial consultation, but I also would prefer to be in on the initial stages of it. But if you've already chosen your trademark,
Right.
and you've started using it, then do the searches yourself. I can help to determine whether it's protectable or whether you should even file an application.
Right.
Those kind of things.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, my entry level into a business would be right at the beginning when you're choosing a trademark, to make sure that you have clear title to it. But if not, then at any stage you can get me involved
Cool.
for searching it.
Cool.
I would say that if you just pick a trademark and start using it, even if it's just on wine, without a search, you're at risk of infringing potentially somebody else's rights, and that's why you really need to. I mean, you don't want to spend thousands of dollars doing the the branding, the marketing of that brand, selling product, and only to find out that somebody else owns that trademark,
Right.
and now you're infringing them. Okay, so Three Dog Winery is not a registered trademark. I think I've seen the puppy dog paw print all over the place. Whether it's been used on other wines or not, who knows?
Right.
It could just be, and I caution people about doing this, it could just be pulled off the internet, thrown on the wine. Do you know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
Like they buy the icon.
Right.
Or,
Right.
so you have to, when you do that, make sure you read the fine print.
Right.
Because sometimes you don't own the rights to it. You have the rights to use it, but not necessarily profit from it. So be careful of
Okay, right.
that. Okay, so I just wanted to point that out. I actually love the name of this, and the wines are actually pretty good, and the place, Prince Edward County, is fantastic. So,
Lovely.
all right, let's throw out another one. Let's do Kente, because that's Prince Edward County as well.
Oh, yes. And this one actually caught my attention when I was looking as well.
Okay,
You
so
know, in terms of
maybe
what we
we'll
were
hold
gonna
that up a
choose.
little bit, or I'll hold it back
Okay.
up, and you tell us why it caught your eye.
It caught my eye because I saw the color of the wine inside the bottle, and it's a really nice red.
Mhm.
It's not a very dark red color, so that caught my attention. I also like the color on the label and just the bow. There seems to be something old about it, and at the same time, the name seemed European.
Mhm.
You know, Scottish or Irish or something, just in terms of how it's written. It caught my attention, and I thought, that I was just curious about the word Kente, and it brought me memories of my European adventure.
Oh, nice. Okay, so this is a wine from Prince Edward County, and it's from the Kente vineyards, and they do specialized wines. This is a Pinot Noir. So the picture on the front is depicting the voyageurs, the early day voyageurs, and it's actually an Indian term. I don't know whether it tells the story on the back. Sometimes when you read the label, you should always read the label on a wine. Some of them are fantastic. This one talks about, well, it's just, they have their unique terroir, but they do manufacture or make their wines in the traditional European methods. So
Okay.
it's nice that you got that from that. This Portage is the name of this wine, and that's where you get the wonderful artwork. Now, I wanted to bring this up because that artwork alone is the subject of copyright in Canada. There's automatic copyright from the date an artwork is created, but the label itself could be as protected as well. I do not believe they protected the label, but now
So when you say the label, you mean the whole
visual thing, yeah.
visual thing.
Yeah.
So they can either protect the whole thing, or it might not be protected. Meaning another vineyard could come up with something very similar, and they couldn't do anything about it. Is
Well,
that what
not
you mean?
necessarily, because
Okay.
here in Canada we have what's called common law rights. If it was a vineyard in BC who came up with something similar, and this label was not protected through trademark rights for the whole thing, then a similar look to it could be used in BC. Now, bearing in mind that there's also copyright, so if someone were to use the same picture on a wine over in BC, that wouldn't be acceptable.
Okay.
So, like I said, there's lots of nuances to do here, but
So you wouldn't necessarily need to trademark it, but you could copyright. The picture could be copyrighted because of
well, there's
because
automatic
it's art,
copyright
because
in
of the
that,
art because it's artwork. Okay.
yeah. But the trademark, with the name of the wine as Portage as well, which would be unique. Those are all things that could be trademarked.
Okay.
I'm not going to check to see if they are, but just letting you know that this one is a lovely wine.
Cool.
As well. So, and do you know what this is here? Let's take a look at that. The VQA symbol at the bottom.
Oh, I know it means something about
Vintner's Quality Assurance or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I should know. It's been a long time since I was certified. And that just means that this wine has got 100% of its grapes came from Ontario,
Oh, okay.
and that the wines have reached a certain standard defined by the Vintner's Quality Assurance here in Ontario to be designated that wine. And they have to every year meet those same standards to maintain that
Okay.
list.
So not every wine has that, but if you want your wine to have a greater standing, that would be something that you might want to consider for it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You don't need it,
Mm-hmm.
but VQA symbol
Mm-hmm.
is recognized as a standard a defined standard, and it sells more wine.
Cool. All right.
So it all depends on what you want to do. So So let's take a look at the
pretty bottle? No?
We'll get to the bottle shapes afterwards.
Okay.
Let's do the Primitivo, and then we'll do the okay. So and then we'll do the bubblies. So this one is the Primitivo. It's an Italian wine, and I absolutely love the labeling on this. The color, first of all, it's a bit of a red kind of thing, but it's a rusty red. And when you look at a rusty red on a wine bottle, it immediately, in my mind, gives you the impression that the wine has some age on it. That's very appealing for a wine, especially from Italy.
Right.
So, now, this one is a 2001, so it is probably ready to drink now. It'll be our second bottle. So Primitivo is the type of grape varietal kind of thing. It's the same grape. Zinfandel. It's the Italian equivalent to a Zinfandel grape. Now this is a Coppi. Don't you love that? It's so regal, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Gioia del. I am not good at speaking Italian. Del Colle. And do you see underneath there it says what does it say? Dominazione di origine controllata. That's the Italian equivalent of the VQA.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Cool.
So there's probably 4 tiers to the Italian kind of thing. I will have Antonio on as a guest, and he's like a wine connoisseur of all things Italy, and he runs Italian wine and culinary tours as well. So
excellent.
I'm going to have him on, and we'll talk exclusively about Italian wines. So
Excellent.
all right. So let's bring both of the bubblies out. You're not drinking your wine.
Oh, well, I'm just fascinated by all the stuff that I'm learning
well,
about tonight, about
I'm pouring
IP.
more wine.
But, but I will be catching up, don't worry.
Good.
Whether on or off camera.
That's right. Okay. Let's bring them both out. So we probably need this.
This and this. All right.
Sorry. Okay. So these are 2 different types of bubblies. This is a Cremant de Bourgogne, I think. Yeah. Which means it's I want to say a champagne, because it's from the same region, but the champagnes, to be called champagne, have to be from the Champagne region in France.
Oh.
So this is called a Bourgogne, Cremant de Bourgogne, because it's from the Burgundy region, which is where champagnes are from.
Okay.
But the champagnes are from the northern area, and this is the lower area of Burgundy. I think it's made in the same kind of way as the champenoise method, but because it's not from the Champagne region, they can't call it champagne.
Okay. Cool.
So just so you know, a lot of wines, the grape varietals, they're all protected under geographic indications, and there's a listing on the, in the Trademark Act that I work from, that tells you what protected marks. So you cannot adopt as the name of a wine the actual grape varietal.
Oh.
So you can use the grape varietal on there, but you cannot claim exclusive rights to it.
Okay.
Interesting. So just so you know that. So I picked this one because it's got the pink gold. What do you call it? The rose gold?
Yes.
Rose,
yes.
And I love rose gold. So, and this is a fantastic wine. It's I like to call them sparkling wines, but it is made in the champenoise method, and half the price, or even a quarter of the price of regular champagne.
Oh,
so,
well then. That's always a...
Yeah. Now,
a seller
compare
for me.
this to, this is a Prosecco. Pretty blue bottle. Definitely not made in the champenoise method. It's a completely different method of making them and making sure the bubbles get in there in Italy. Again, I will let Antonio talk more about that, because I don't know specifically what method they've used, whether it's been the big barrel or whatever. So, but I love this bottle. And typical of Italians, they're very understated for the lower wines, I call them. They're very understated, but they're very elegant, and they still have they always have these little regal emblems kind of thing. So this is an extra dry, and it's Fos Marai. I don't know what that means, but
So in terms of going back to your...
sorry, this is a Vino Spumante. It's not even a Prosecco, but
Oh, okay.
I like the bottle. That's why I bought it.
Right. So I'm curious about, you're talking about these regal signs. Are these things that could be trademarked?
Absolutely. So those would be like the overarching brand winery
Okay.
kind of thing.
Okay.
And then they would have different labels for their various wines that they
Okay.
have. So
Question that's come up for
Sure.
me as we're chatting about that in terms of the trademark. If it is trademark, would it have the little TM on the on the bottles? Like, does it always have to have the TM if it's trademark, or can it be trademarked and not have that TM?
okay, so let's talk about what the difference between TM and the little R in the circle. You've seen the R in the circle,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So a little R in the circle means that it's a registered trademark, and that means the only time you can use a registered trademark, the little R, that symbol, is if a trademark has been registered in the country where it's being sold, kind of thing. Unless you're talking about reciprocal rights. So Canada doesn't have any marking laws, so it's not a requirement in Canada to mark your trademarks as either registered or that you're using them as trademarks.
Okay.
However, if you're doing any cross-border exporting or importing, then it's always best to make sure, because in the States you have to mark them.
Okay.
It's best to make sure that you're using the proper symbol.
Okay.
If you have a registered trademark here in Canada and you're sending them down to the States, you can use the R and the symbol there. I mean, there's some question about that, but because they don't want to put too much of an onus or pressure on the Canadians to also file for registration in the States if they don't have as much economic gain, then you're allowed to use the R and the symbol in the circle down there. I always recommend to all of my clients, friends, colleagues, whomever, if you're using a trademark, put the TM symbol beside it. And all that means is that you're using it as a trademark, whatever it is. Now, excuse me, I need more wine.
More wine, yeah.
There is some question as to whether there has to be an application that's filed in order to use the TM. There's been some back and forth, I think, down in the States. Again, it's not a thing here in Canada. What we say common practice is that if you filed an application in the US, you're entitled to use the TM. If not, then you put a little asterisk or something beside it. But again, up here in Canada, if you're using it as a trademark and you do cross-border export, then put a TM on it for your US merchandise as well.
Okay. Cool.
It's just safe practice.
And is that the same for, I know I'm going a little off topic here because we're talking about wine, but is it the same for if you're exporting a service, if you're using something that has this
Yeah,
TM
so I tell
on it?
everybody who has services, if you've got a website, put a TM beside it to designate that you're using that trademark as a trademark. But if you're actually like putting on a letterhead or things, tangible items that you have to pay money for, don't bother. It's not necessary.
Cool.
So
Excellent.
it can always be changed easily on electronic or digital stuff. So
Excellent.
okay,
Cool. All right.
all right.
Shall we
And
bring
so
this
now
one?
we're gonna show some funky bottles. So this is a Côte des Roses. Is that how you say it? Are you French?
Yeah.
Okay.
Côté
Côté des
de
Roses.
De Rose.
Des
Yeah.
Roses.
Côté de Rose.
Gerard Bertrand. So this is a Grenache, Syrah, and Cinsault. So those grape varietals are all protected.
Okay.
So everybody can use them, but they can't call their wine just Grenache.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what I
see.
mean? So that's
see.
why you've got Côté des Roses. Would be, I mean, that could be a what we call a design trademark because
Right.
it's got the design element in it. It could be just a word trademark. A label could be protected by copyright or trademark.
Right. And so it's interesting. So if I was starting a vineyard, I would contact someone like you to find out that the different varietals, I couldn't trademark that, but I could trademark everything.
One would
else
hope
around.
that if you're running around, you already know that.
Well,
But I'm here to help everyone. So the interesting thing about this bottle is it's beautiful. It's got the rose up top, but that's just a little decal. The interesting thing is this on the bottom.
oh,
So it's an engraved rose on the bottom. It's stunning. Now, I've had 3 bottles of this already. The wine is actually pretty good. I love rosés. Rosé all day. Every time I buy this bottle, I think, I just want to use it for like a candle holder or something.
Yeah.
I never do, though.
You need to get like a bottle cutter or something to.
Right? That would actually be stunning.
So then, yes, because that would be.
Okay, so that's a side business that we can
Yes.
talk about. Anyway, I wanted to show that the shape of the bottle, this could also be a trademark.
Oh. Really?
Yeah. So,
Fantastic.
I don't know if it is, but
Fantastic.
it could be.
Well, how would you even look that up? Like, how would you?
We'll see. Now I can't give away all my trade
Oh,
secrets.
okay. All right. So
I would look that up.
She'd be able to find out that.
Yeah.
That out. Okay.
I have not checked that.
Fantastic.
Okay, and now
Ooh.
the final one. I don't even know if they're still making these or not, because this is from 2010, and it's a Cabernet Franc. I don't even know how to say that. Foch, a Cabernet Foch. That's what I'm going to call it. And it's from Grand Pré down in Halifax. And I know what you're thinking. Nova Scotian wines probably don't see enough sun hours in order for the grapes to mature enough.
No. I've had some fantastic Nova Scotia wines.
I don't know that this was one of my favorites, but I love the bottle. And look at it. Oh, maybe I can pull it back here.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that. Isn't that awesome?
Yes.
So at the end, when you drink the bottle, I don't know if or when I'll drink this bottle, you could put a candle in there.
Yes.
That would be stunning.
Yes, it would be.
Or you can put
flower, some sort of flower arrangement or something.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So now this could have been the subject of a trademark as well.
The bottle, the actual bottle?
The shape of the bottle. I do know for sure that they did not protect that. And at the time, they required what we call acquired distinctiveness.
Okay.
Does anybody know what that is? Acquired distinctiveness is where a trademark has gained such a reputation that it's known fairly well throughout Canada.
Okay.
So it is known to, its reputation becomes secondary meaning.
Okay. So if they were the only ones that had this type of bottle, they would be known for this bottle. So they wouldn't necessarily have to have trademarked it.
No, they still have to trademark
They still have to trademark.
But nobody else would be able to use the shape of wine bottle for wine or anything else. Kind of thing. Any other beverage kind of thing. So you know the green Perrier bottle?
Yes.
That's the subject of a trademark.
Really?
Yeah. So nobody can use that green colored glass in the shape of a Perrier bottle.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know if it, to be honest, I don't know if it's still valid, but
look at that.
For the longest time, yeah.
Okay, so I can honestly say that I have learned quite a few things through this little conversation that we've been having about wine and IP, and enjoyed a lovely glass of wine in the process of it. And I have to say, success
Success.
to the first
Thank you.
IP wine.
IP wine. Cheers.